Hi, I'm Charles.
And I'm Caroline. We got married in June and now we're sailing around the Atlantic Ocean for the year. Come join us as we document our journey.
In this episode, we spend some time in sandy island Caris. I do some more fishing, and we head down the west coast of Grenada, stopping by to do some snorkeling before arriving on the south coast.
Just arriving at Sandy Island and it looks absolutely stunning.
How beautiful is here? Looking forward to snorkeling because it's really hot. Just saw our friends who we met in Canary Island, in the Canaries, OCC members. So we're going to go around maybe, should we go around for dinner time or what should we do? Sundowner. Okay, come for sundowner. The next day we dinghied across to Caris to check into the country. This isn't the third day I've been wearing this shirt. I promise I have three.
Identical ones.
I have three identical ones.
All fixed in exactly the same place.
Yeah. It was quite a long walk from where we dropped our dinghy off, but it was a lovely day and really interesting to explore Caris.
Trevally Bay.
Oh, just a small hill to climb on the way back up.
Oh, fun. Lovely. Looking forward to that.
So we've checked in to Grenada finally, and we've turned the boat upside down because we're actually doing some cleaning. So we're trying to clear out the front cabin, which is the garage. Normally it's getting a bit mildew in here. This is our stuff, tacky and Jeb, we want to keep in good order. So Caroline's done a very good job of cleaning it out. This is all the stuff which has been stored in there, so we need to get rid of that. So we also had a bit of a problem with our dinghy outboard. The fuel jet in the carburetor was blocked, which meant that we could only have the throttle on fast idle or else it would cut out. So I spent the morning taking apart the carburetor, cleaning the fuel jets, and putting it all back together. The first thing we had to do was get rid of the push rod which connected the choke to the carburetor. So next thing we need to do is remove these air lines. There's one on the other side, and this fuel line, and then the throttle push rod. So I think the push rod can go already. Uh-oh. I just heard something drop. As we were disassembling the carburetor, we heard something tinkle down right into the bottom of the engine. It ended up being a brass collar, which is part of the air intake attachment to the main body of the carburetor. Fortunately, Caroline helped and we managed to retrieve two pieces from the bottom of the engine without it going overboard. So once we managed to completely remove the carburetor, we started to disassemble it and clean the inside of it as thoroughly as we could. After that, we took out the fuel jet and put a very thin piece of wire in it to get rid of any gunge which was blocking the hole. Once we had done that, we reassembled the carburetor and mounted it back onto the outboard. After a long, bit of a hard start actually, we managed to get it going. The next day, we left Caris and headed down to Grenada.
The wind's almost behind us, so we've got just the main up at the moment, and Charles has got his fishing gear ready to go.
We caught a Wahoo on one of the hand lines whilst we were sailing between Caris and Grenada. No sooner had we caught one when we caught another one on the other hand line.
Got ourselves another Wahoo! I'm sorry. Look at that! Beauty! Look at it! just passing Diamond Rock. The waves get a bit more rough around here. And we're heading towards the Seven Sisters over there, which is a set of what looks like 7 rocks coming out of the water. And we're going between those because there's an underwater volcano somewhere over there that we need to keep a wide berth of. So, Seven Sisters it is. Wow, beautifully filleted. Look at that.
Just a little bit.
Barely a scrap of meat left on that. I think you've done well. So I think that's 3 of the sisters. And here are the other 4 sisters.
Huh?
To Grenada. Or Grenada, however you want to say it.
We had a lovely calm sail down the west coast of Grenada, and we anchored just next to a national park with some underwater sculptures, which we snorkeled on the next day. Just got back from snorkeling, and Caroline is having a little rest in the cockpit. Little fins. You're like one of those sea lions in San Francisco on the pier. Oh, Wally the walrus. The next day we continued down to the south coast of Grenada. Amazingly, we caught a longfin Trevally just before we got to our marina. That afternoon we arrived at La Far Blue Marina, where we were to spend the next few days. So here we cooked up the Wahoo, and we're having Wahoo fajitas.
So this morning we washed down the whole boat, we washed down the decks and the cockpit and gave a very good clean with a cloth. The teak grates are just over there waiting to return back onto the boat. We also put some anti-rust stuff on our metalwork that had a bit of rust, and Charles is just going back for seconds now.
Grafting on tape plan. So this evening we are eating some of the Trevally. We had some Wahoo fajitas for lunch, which is lovely, and that's going to be Caroline's portion, and this will be mine. So here we are frying up some butter and garlic. I'm afraid it's a lot of butter, sorry not sorry, but it smells absolutely delicious, and the garlic's smelling good too. That smells good. I'm going to pan fry it for a few minutes each side, and now we're going to flip the Trevally. Hopefully we've done it enough, excuse my fingers, that's really hot. I'm preparing all the Wahoo strip baits, which I cut from obviously the Wahoo we caught the other day. It's quite useful to, and every time you catch a fish, to make some of these strip baits from the back ends of the fish, or the head, which are these bits, or general belly cuts which you're not going to use the meat from. So when Caroline expertly de-skins the fillets, I then cut them into long strip baits. We'll probably, like for instance, these are quite big. Probably wouldn't use all of this. I might just use sort of this much on the octopus skirts or that, and I might profile it better for any of the feathers. But this is what we call it, the Trevally on. So I think a bit of flashing reel bait does go a long way in catching fish. So what we're going to do is flip these and we're going to salt them. Also taking this time to do this whilst Caroline's outside doing some, I think she's hanging the laundry up. She would probably go a bit mad if she saw me making a fishy stinky mess in the galley, so I'd better do this quickly. So we're just going for a little swim after we put Boracle down on the decks. Just going to cool off because it's quite warm already. Caroline's going to show us a perfect dive. Huh? She'll show us a perfect jump in. So we've dinghied around the corner to another cove. It's this real hurricane hole. It's been chiseled out. Well, I say the bedrock. It's like soft sediment sand actually, but it's been carved out of the hilltop into this flat little boatyard, where I'm presuming all the boats lie up for the hurricane season. I'm going to go to this big old Toys R Us for boats, the Marine Charnery. Hope to pick up our water maker. It's quite a fun dinghy. Quite a fun dinghy over here. We're with the wind. Let's see if this needs the screen clean. We're with the wind and swell, so on the way back it's going to be a lot more, not wetter, a lot more difficult. So hopefully we'll have a water maker pump. In the UK they wanted sort of £500 plus for one of these, and this is just under half price. So much better to get it from here. It's only a sort of 20-minute dinghy ride away as opposed to going all the way back to the UK. And we're now leaving that marina and we're going to another little second-hand or a little bric-a-brac shop we saw online over there to see if there's anything interesting.
Just installing the new pump. Just a casual Friday night activity. Let's hope this does the trick.
We then left Caris in Grenada for a week whilst we flew back to the UK, and we came back with my sister and her husband.